Hi,
Hi.
how are
I was,
you?
I'm good. I'm grateful that we're
I heard
safe
your,
and it looks like the cyclone is passing and hasn't caused too much
yeah, yeah, it's quite still
destruction.
outside and it was definitely very unnerving. Yeah, but thank you so much for your sweet little introduction. I had kind of logged in once you started your live. It was very sweet. Thank you.
I meant every word. You know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bhumi, you are really special in more ways than one. And like I mentioned in my introduction of you, what makes you even more special to me personally is the fact that you've used your celebrity, you've used your personal awareness, your consciousness, your own evolution in your journey to share that with all the people who follow you, who love you, who care for you. I want to start with asking you firstly, I think your name is so apt for you.
I think that too. At times I wonder what were my parents thinking. Like the chances of them naming me Bhumi is, I don't know, maybe like I was meant to do this. I truly feel like, okay, I want to start off by telling you that you have inspired me so much. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to an incident. I wasn't acting. I was like probably like in my high school, and there was this show for NDTV Good Times that had covered you. And I remember you'd spoken about how you'd boycotted plastic bottles, and you had like this case made out of jute where you would like stack your 6 bottles of water and you would take them with you on shoot. And
Yeah.
since I've been very little, I've always been very clear that, um, I've I've been brought up with a lot of compassion and just general awareness. So since I was very little, I'd kind of started off on this journey, and
Tell us more about that.
that's
You
why
you were born in Mumbai, right? Did you
I am a
interact a lot?
Bombay girl.
Okay, you're a
Yeah, yeah,
Bombay
yeah.
girl. So,
Fully, I'm a
did
pure
you grow
Bombay
up
girl.
climbing trees and interacting with nature, or did you, like
I
most
mean, it
Bombay
was
kids, not
limited.
have that?
Yeah, it was
Hmm.
limited because we don't really have a lot of space. But I was very lucky because my grandparents live in Jaipur. They lived in
Hmm.
Jaipur rather. So every summer holidays, our summer vacations were in Jaipur, and they had like this huge farmhouse where my nani had like hundreds of mango trees, papaya trees. Everything was homegrown. So I've spent a lot of time up close with nature. I would see my grandmom, she would wake up at 5 a.m. and she loved her plants and her trees. She would
Hmm.
speak to them, she would nurture them. Everything was homegrown. कहते हैं ना नानी के घर जब मैं जाती थी. So I think that kind of really gave me a very strong base. I realized how important is it to coexist with nature because she would not travel. She loved her trees so much she would not travel. She did not leave that house for like at least 20 years because she's like, who's gonna take care of them? वो खाद अपने हाथों से बनाती थी. She would like home composting and garbage segregation is something that I saw when I was very little because that's something that she used to do. And
Yeah.
this is a very
Something that
general
all of us need
habit.
to start doing.
Absolutely. And Tia, like now we feel, oh my God, this is like modern technology, etc., etc. But no, if you go back to villages in India, they do exactly this. All your I'm saying, sorry, all your wet waste is put
Vegetable,
into,
yeah. Food
yeah,
waste, yeah.
all your food waste is put separately and they use it as manure and all your
Hmm.
other waste is whatever, like it's always segregated. So I think just spending those formative years in Jaipur with my grandparents it had a very huge impact on me. Just the compassion they had for animals there. They had a lot of pets. Everybody was welcome. Everybody was like, every living thing that existed in my ecosystem there was given a lot of love and respect. So I think a lot of it comes from them. But yeah, being a city girl, we didn't really have a lot of space in our school, etc. But I feel like since we were very little, our parents always spoke about the changes that the world needs to see.
Hmm.
I remember I was in school and Orissa had like a devastating flood.
cyclone, flood.
Yeah, a cyclone,
Yeah,
right. And I was 8 or 9, and my parents forced us to go on this donation drive. So that's my first
yeah.
memory. I was like, oh, so why has this happened? And then we started learning about
Mm.
it in school, and it was like it was devastating. And I think since then I've just been at it. I have always been a climate warrior. I truly believe that you need to speak about it. You need to let people know that this is real, this is happening right now. And if you truly care about yourself, if you truly love your family, then you have to bring in your life to kind of give them a fair chance at survival. I mean, I can go on and on, honestly. This is so personal to me. And I remember as a child, okay, like obviously this is brain then. I would spend sleepless nights just thinking, okay, one day the water is going to dry up. So what am I
Mm.
going to do? This was my great plan. I was like, I'm going to have this huge house. I'm going to fill it up with like PET bottles. Now, obviously not a good idea. I didn't have the brains to understand that that won't work. And I was like, okay, I'll survive. So I think from a very young age, I had the understanding that our natural resources are limited,
Yeah.
you know.
But Bhumi,
So
it's one
that's
thing to, grow up with a sense of compassion and awareness and care. But it's another thing to, in your adult life, become so consumed by the need to make a difference. And it really starts with just, firstly, of course, personal awareness. I'm curious that you shared the NDTV story about me carrying the glass bottles to work.
I remember
When I
that
used to do
clearly.
that, yeah, but when I used to do that, people used to laugh at me. Like they would be like, "Ek ladki pagal hai," right? Um, so it takes a certain madness, really,
Yeah,
and personal resolve to uh, initiate the changes that we need to in our daily lives. Tell
absolutely,
me,
absolutely.
in your adult life, after you became an actor, I remember very early in your career, you meeting me and telling me, I want to be a part of what you do. Please
Yeah,
involve me. Tell me how I can
yeah,
help. I want to help. And then some time ago, your team called me and said they wanted me to connect you with Afrosha
yeah,
because you wanted to be a part of beach cleanups. But
yeah.
what I want you to share with all your followers and everybody who's watching right now is what sparked that madness, like that resolve that I have to do more and make better choices
You
and
know,
get engaged, get involved.
this
Because it's one thing to
madness.
love and care and feel.
Absolutely. This madness was always there, Dia. I think while growing up and while I became like a responsible adult, I've continued on my path of creating awareness. Obviously, the impact right now is large, right? Like I remember, how you said people thought you were crazy and you're kind of being a little, you're overdoing it, you're just causing inconvenience. I've gone through that. Like, 2 years ago, I won't really give you the details of where, how, who the people were, but we all were on a panel and I was with a lot of my colleagues. And everybody had their passion, thing that they wanted to kind of speak about in front of these very important people who could truly bring about a change in our policies, etc. And the only thing I wanted to speak about was climate. And everybody is like, but why would you speak about climate? Like, it's not a
And
problem.
environmental action.
And yeah, absolutely. Like climate change,
Uh,
environmental action, how we need to have like stronger policies and whatever little. And everybody is like, no, we should like speak about animal care, etc., etc. And I was like, guys, I'm all for it. But we have to understand that no species can exist if we don't have a planet. And this is really, but it's also very refreshing. And I'm so thankful that since that day to today, there's been such a change way people look at addressing it as a real problem. And just kind of, I mean, I'm sorry I digress, but I had to kind of share my experience. But coming back to how I kind of maintained it, I think it's such an integral part of who I am. Like I was very clear, okay, I want to be an actor, I want to do this. I want to be a vocal voice, and I want to kind of let people know or do my bit, where climate justice is concerned. And I've been doing my small bit here and there, but now I have the power as an actor. People care about what I have to say. They listen to me. I have better connections. I know people that can influence young minds, because by the end of it, the youth is our future. And so I'm just using my power, and I'm not going to stop till we really see like a good change. And our phone conversation, when we spoke like now 15-20 minutes ago, you told me that you feel so good that you felt so alone when you started your journey,
I did.
but now you don't.
Yeah. I
And I
don't,
just
because I
hope
think
that,
that you're right. There are more and more people who've understood how important it is to be environmentally conscious and aware, and how connected
yeah,
the health and the balance of our ecosystems in the natural world is to our health and balance. In fact, I think that this
absolutely.
this in many ways, this global pandemic, this lockdown has also given many more people the opportunity to pause and just realize that the air is cleaner now. Our rivers are cleaning up. It's just pausing human activity
Yeah,
has brought about such a big difference. So it
yeah,
really is on us, on how we build back and go back into what we call normal life. What was
absolutely.
normal or perceived as normal was not really good. And
Yeah,
we need to go back to basics in understanding this
yeah.
fragile relationship we have with nature. I've been able to make some changes in my personal life in the co-op that I live in. So we segregate waste, we compost our waste. We've installed these check water systems so there's no
Oh,
overflow of our
wow.
tanks. Yeah, and that's like a big win, because I'm
Yeah,
sure we
that
used to
is.
lose a lot of precious
Yeah,
water. Our domestic help, and even when we wash hands or we're washing utensils, we make sure we turn the taps off.
yeah.
We consume less energy. We're less wasteful in our consumption. Now, mom and I have been following a largely plant-based diet.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, it's been really wonderful. But initially, and then of course, the traveling bottle has become quite popular. So now more and more people have started refusing single-use plastic bottles
Thank
and are
God.
using their own traveling bottles.
Yeah.
I see more people being packed with their own
Yeah,
traveling
yeah,
bottles now,
it's become a bit of a
like
fashion
a
statement, which
trend,
is
which is
great.
wonderful. It's
Which is
great. I mean, if we
great.
can make
Yeah,
sustainability fashionable, great. Why not?
absolutely.
More power to
Absolutely.
everyone.
The problem is people think it's very inconvenient, the biggest challenge, because even at home, and I had a bit of a struggle at home as well, because my mom is very aware, she really cares. But it was very tough for me to kind of tell her that it's not enough. What
Yeah.
we are doing is not enough. We have to do more. So,
Mm.
right from having a bit of our own circular economy at home, we
Yeah.
segregate our waste, our wet waste is turned into manure. We are trying to kind of grow vegetables at home.
I saw that.
Energy.
Beautiful pictures
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
food that you're
yeah,
growing.
yeah.
So
And
that's
it's
on
so
my to-do list. I really want to do
satisfying.
that. Yeah,
It
it's
is
lovely
so
to have your own
satisfying.
tomato.
So I have like tomato, karela, methi, palak. I have a few strawberries that grow here and there. That's just very random. I have bengan. I have mirchi. So it's quite cool, Like
Yeah.
it's nice. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
nice. And I think you just become, the more you are around nature, the more you understand how amazing and beautiful it is. Like,
And
at
how
times when I'm
powerful it
looking,
is.
and how powerful it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. At times when I look at my plants, I'm just like lost for like a very long time, because I was like, how are you doing this? How are
Yeah.
you flowering this beautiful thing? Like, it is just,
Yeah.
and we are just destroying it. But I think the biggest challenge for me has been training the staff at home, because
Mm.
what I've done is I've reduced the water pressure because they would just not listen. They would like,
Yeah.
because I can only monitor them, or my mom can only monitor them for that much time. So, we've like come up with our own little hacks. We've reduced the water pressure. I think a bigger challenge is when I'm shooting, because it took
Yeah.
me like a very long time to kind of train everybody that I work with, be it my makeup artist, my hair person, that guys, I don't want my van to be completely lit and bright. I don't think my air conditioner should be running once I step out. I keep switching it off.
Yeah.
And because, everything, I mean,
Yeah.
everything has like a domino effect,
Yeah.
and I don't like using a lot of earbuds because, or just wastage of cotton, using cotton pads. I have my own filtering system in my van now. We are trying to attach like solar panels because I have a personal van, and I kind of invested a lot in it because I wanted to be more uh, uh, I wanted to be kinder to nature. So, we are trying to kind of fix solar paneling on my van, and, just having a pet bottle free set is a very big challenge. But the
Mm.
beauty of it is that a
But
lot
many
of our
productions
producer,
are going single-use plastic
exactly,
free.
exactly,
So that's
exactly.
also a big win for all of us who campaigned for it. Because when we did the campaign for Beat Plastic Pollution in 2018, we
Hmm.
thought that it would be one of the most difficult human behavioral changes to work on. And it
Yeah,
continues to be a challenge because while India has banned single use plastic in 21 states, the implementation of the ban has not been successful. And now,
yeah,
of course, we've seen during the pandemic that people feel safer or more secure using single use. So it's come back. So that will be another thing that we'll have to kind of invest in to
yeah, yeah.
manage and,
You know,
and deal
I
with
keep
that.
I keep telling people that plastic is not the enemy, it is the way we use it. We start recycling
Yeah,
our plastic, like
absolutely.
Japan, they recycle 80% of their plastic. And what people don't understand is that every piece of plastic ever made still exists. When I hear
Yeah, and
like
it has
these
nowhere to go.
numbers, it
It's
has
going to
nowhere to
outlive
go.
all of us. Yeah.
Exactly. So why can't we recycle it? And everything, the more I study on it, the more I realize that we as human beings, we are just so shameless and thankless, and we really don't care. Just such horrific things that you read every day. And I mean, what happened in Kerala today, it
I
broke my
know what happened with that
heart.
elephant was heartbreaking. So
I was
that's
like,
actually something that farmers do, the pineapple was placed for wild boar, and the elephant ended up eating it. And so it's again the conflict of
yeah,
um, man and nature. The fact that we can't ignore the fact that we co-inhabit space, a very small geographical landmass of our country, which has the second largest population on the planet,
yeah,
with biodiversity, and we
yeah,
still manage to coexist beautifully. There are
yeah.
certain unfortunate incidences where wildlife suffers and suffers as horrifically as this pregnant elephant did. But we have done decently, Bhumi. I think
Absolutely,
it's very important for
absolutely.
us to recognize the fact that as India, the fact that we have, biodiversity hotspots, that we've still managed to,
And
um,
and I also feel that India as a country is doing enough. I'm sorry, I don't think it's enough, but we are at least we have things that we are doing towards making the world a better place.
yeah, I think
Especially where climate
culturally,
change is
especially in
concerned.
rural parts of India, culturally, we have been taught, we have learned to live in
Yeah,
harmony with nature.
yeah,
It's us urban dwellers who have to learn to do better, because a lot of our wasteful consumption
yeah.
happens by the urban society of the country.
Absolutely. We are the
So
biggest
we need to
abusers.
style, yeah. So we need to do better. Tell me something, Bhumi. And I know this, and I feel it, and I know a lot of young people who are exposed to the science, who are exposed to the reality on the ground, and the enormity of and the challenges that climate change poses. and the kind of devastation and destruction it is creating, it causes a lot of eco anxiety. How do you
Yes.
deal with it?
Oh my God. Honestly, I didn't know there was a term called eco anxiety till like 2 years ago. So I would like, I have a therapist friend of mine, and I told her, listen, this is all I think about. I think it just consumes so much of my time. I get scared. It literally has reached a point where I'm like, I don't want to have children. Because, the more I study, the more I realize that it's the planet is not really going to be habitable for people to, and I don't want to scare anyone, but this comes from enough reading. I'm not a
No, this is
scientist, I'm not a
necessary for us to
researcher.
say. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is a fact. Like, I don't see myself having, I mean, I don't think I'm going to have a family because, right now, all I think of is protecting my sister and my mom. I'm like, okay, if I attach more people to me, I'll go mad. And this is the only thing I think about. And I kind of spoke to her because I wasn't sure. I was like, is this normal? The fact that this is all that I think about. I only think about like the temperature going, the temperature increasing. We have species. I mean, we are abusing animals. We are abusing nature. I was like, I don't know what to do, and I was really frustrated, yeah, because just kind of, I, I, I felt like people don't really understand me. I felt very alone. I felt like, as you rightly said earlier, I felt like, people just saw me as an activist. There was just such negative connotation attached to that word. And I was
Oh,
like,
I've heard
guys,
that too. ये तो activist है.
yeah, ये तो activist type की, that, and that pissed me off. I was like, what do you mean by activist type? I was like, हम सबको बनना चाहिए activist type. आपको, मुझे, हम सबको climate activist बनना चाहिए. Because मेरा बहुत simple है यार. I don't see myself, literally, I'd be like, oh, so basically, when I'm at an age where I'm ready to retire, I'm not gonna have a park that I can go to. I'll have to wear a mask or I don't know what not. I'll probably be like half machine because that's the only way I can exist. I've gone that far. Okay. But
I,
it really,
I'm not surprised at all. You know, now I'm nodding my head and like, been there.
yeah, but it really scares me because
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you not get it? And this is like people very, very close to me. I would go to my like, I would go to a cousin's house or an aunt's house and they're cleaning their kitchen. And they're cleaning their kitchen like patani 50 saal se they've not. I said, why are you wasting so much water? I'm like, you are educated. You don't need, like, this is pure, you're abusing your privilege. And it would piss me off. And like people were just, I think even they were kind of fuck out of me, but I just didn't stop. So I think that gave me a lot of anxiety because when you just can't communicate with people, especially your loved ones, and you feel like they just don't understand you, and that's the most frustrating bit. And especially when they don't understand you for something that is fundamentally so basic and important. Because
Mm.
this is not my personal selfish
Children
journey.
feel that a lot. Children
This
feel
is
it a
for
lot
absolutely, this is
because
for
they
everyone.
get it so easily. They understand that, you know, you tell a
Yeah.
child that a plastic straw that you use for a few seconds lasts in the environment up to 400 years. It's entering our food chain.
Yeah.
It's causing um, devastation of natural habitats. It's, you know, killing wild
Yeah.
species. They will never use a plastic straw again.
But I must say, since I started Climate Warrior and since I met like many people that have worked tirelessly towards nurturing our planet, I'm at ease because I feel like okay, there are people that are doing something about it. They understand my anger.
So,
I mean, they understand my confusion. So be it afros, be it like I've met some fantastic people. I've covered a lot of them in my series, and so I feel like this community, it's and I mean, look at what people are doing in the West. Look at Greta. I mean, I try and go for as many Friday strikes as possible, and I mean, today I feel like, okay, we all are one big community. We all are working towards one goal. So that gives me a lot of comfort.
so you were basically saying that the moment you became a part of the solution and you started connecting with like-minded people, it gave you a lot of strength and has eased your
Oh
anxiety.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it's and
And
it
we
and it
still
has
feel it, but
honestly.
we can share it with each other and feel a little better.
Absolutely. I feel it all the time.
Mm.
Like we are in Bombay and the world is kind of texting us saying that, oh my God, in 100 years or 130 years,
126 years, yeah.
26 years, it's your first cyclone, this, that, what's happening? I'm like, this is exactly what we've been screaming and barking about. This is exactly what our scientists have been saying, that we are really creating a lot of disbalance in the world. Like, how do you not see it? How are you going to live in a world that has no food, no water, no clean air to breathe?
Breathe.
How can you say that you love your children? I think you're a liar. You don't love your children. You don't care about your mom. You don't care about yourself. You don't care about your partner. Because if you did, you would really be making a noise about the right things and changing the person that you are and making sure that everybody around you changes. I truly believe, like, I have my own ecosystem. I need to change them first, and it has taken me so much time, like endless number of fights at home. And not because they didn't care, they cared, but they just, it takes people time to kind
It's
of
not
adapt.
convenient to change. Mm.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I would have, like, my staff would run away. They would be like, दीदी बहुत किट करती है, ये अलग पानी ज्यादा यूज मत करो, बर्तन के लिए इतना है. But eventually today we have, like, I have people that work with me that kind of understand what my vision is. My mom kind of heads it. So it's just about correcting. Even if you correct people in your ecosystem, like, I still have fights with my friends because they're like, oh my God, I had like an hour-long bath. It pisses me off. I was like,
No,
why?
you're like, no, don't
Why?
do that.
I can't. And like, I'll tell you something that happened recently, and I
3 minute
commented.
baths. एक गाना
Yeah,
बजाओ. If it goes beyond that,
exactly.
it's wrong.
और उससे ज़्यादा required ही नहीं है. Now this 20-second hand wash challenge. Okay, now the only thing that I see is the water tap running. I could not take
Yeah,
it. There were times
yeah.
that I just
So
wanted
the
people to be like, stop. It's become a
yeah.
problem. Like, I don't do rain, whatever, scenes in films. Like, so back in the day, the way they use like tanker bhar bhar ke pani, I was like,
Yeah.
that doesn't happen. So now if there's a film, camera ke aage, I said, I know, maybe your cost will go up, you'll have to do a little VFX. But I said, I can't. I said, my soul will not allow me. It's principally wrong. I as an actor, I'm okay doing anything. I'll
Yeah.
never say no. But this is something that I can't do. So yeah, I have a like,
So it's interesting that you mentioned this because the fact is that we can't change everyone and we can't change everything. We can't even change everything about our own lives and our own work spaces,
yeah,
but we can start with making simple small changes.
absolutely.
And I think as we become better aware and better accommodate, like just better um, equipped to make the changes, we continue to make them. You've started a very powerful campaign, Bhumi, that the UNEP is very excited about, and they actually told
Oh,
me to
I'm
convey
glad.
to you during this live today that they
I'm
think it's
glad.
absolutely fantastic, and we are going to, share everything that hopefully everybody's participation will garner. One Wish for the Earth, where
Yeah,
you talk about how important it is to be a climate warrior, but you've
yeah,
also kind of encouraged people who otherwise don't really speak for the earth or for nature to come forward and share their one wish for
yeah.
the earth. Can you tell people what this campaign is and how they can be a part of it?
So basically, it just started off with an idea that, I thought that, maybe it's time that I kind of reach out to my peers and friends in the industry, and I just tell them, I request them if they could kind of just give out a message. I think what has happened with the pandemic is that people have kind of stopped and realized that you can't trouble nature that much.
No, you
Like, you
can't.
have to, you can't. So
We
they've
just have
they've
to
they've
be more
had.
respectful towards nature. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think this pandemic has kind of, we've realized this. We've realized that our race is not like invincible. There's no planet B.
Yeah.
We've realized, and not just the pandemic, the cyclonic activities that happened in the east, the locust attack, everything's just being highlighted. They've kind of seen what happens when we kind of step back. The air pollution has gotten better. Our carbon emission has reduced for the first time since the 1800s, and our fauna is kind of happy. You can see the return of like a lot of birds and animals, turtles, and etc. etc. So I think they've kind of so there's been this small awakening, and I was like, it's the right time to kind of tap into it. And I just
Yeah,
went for it, yeah, Dia. I
absolutely.
wasn't very sure if people would
I'm
like,
very proud of you.
react.
Good girl.
I was like, Bhumi, just do it. I was like, क्या होगा? Max to
क्या
max, they'll say
क्या
no.
एक्टिविस्ट वापस आ गई वही कहेंगे ना
Huh,
और
I'll
क्या.
be like, it's fine. I'll be like, okay, Max will be like, no, we are not comfortable. But the thing is that what I said earlier, the change that I've seen in 2 years is
Yeah,
exactly this.
yeah.
Because and I really have to. I mean, I keep going back to Greta Thunberg because she kind of created a stir. Yeah, she really like this 16-year-old, this 15-year-old girl striking, and it created such a huge movement in India.
I
Like when
also
I go
think
for
that
my
Leonardo DiCaprio's Oscar speech when he won The Revenant,
so good,
it was so timely, so powerful.
so
I think it
good,
kind of
so good.
created
Now,
more
if
awareness
we
within
do
our
that,
industry.
absolutely, we do that in India, the speech will only be cut. It will never
Yeah,
reach.
it won't reach television networks.
No,
Yeah.
it will not because I've tried. It
But
doesn't
Bhumi,
work.
what's interesting is that it's not fair actually to paint everybody by the same brush because
No.
UNEP worked very closely with IFA on the campaigns to beat plastic
And they have
pollution. They
the
were very
green carpet.
successful. They have the green
Yes,
carpet. So yes,
yes.
not everybody is
Absolutely.
opposed to
And I
using
and
that
I'm
platform.
absolutely and I'm a firm believer that there's a change happening, and everybody, and especially as artists, you are evolved. You are more compassionate. You care a lot more. And I was like, our community has always been has we've always spoken about things, because
Yeah.
we are so deeply loved. So the idea was to kind of tap into what people are feeling right now, and I feel so happy and I'm so grateful to all of them, like everybody, including you, everyone who's participated in the campaign, because I truly feel like we've kind of the conversation will at least it'll at least become something that people would care to speak about.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
mean,
Every
that
change
was the
starts with
idea.
awareness.
That
It's a
was the
very
idea,
powerful thought, Bhumi.
and it was beautiful there because everybody right away, like I didn't even have to kind of get into a discussion on it.
Yeah.
People right away were like, "Of course, we would love to. It's a great thing. Tell us what can we do? Is there anything else that we can do, etc., etc." And I was like, "Wow, that gave me a lot of comfort. I feel so good, and I feel like okay, I've made one small successful step into in at creating the world that I want." That we all
Absolutely.
want, rather.
I love you. I could
I
continue
love you
talking to
too.
you forever. There's
Yeah.
just so much to know, but I'm just
Yeah.
very grateful that you are one of the people who is joined a very, very important tribe and a
Yeah.
community of citizens who understand our interconnectedness with nature, who understand the fragile link between our health, our peace, our progress, um, our lives with nature. And may you keep doing what you're doing. May you keep making the difference. And
Thank you.
always know that you're loved and supported, and we're all in this together.
Thank you. And I love you too. I mean, you've honestly kind of been the torch bearer for all of us. You've been at it for so many years. You've been, and I think I draw a lot of strength from what you are doing. It really gives me a lot of courage, and it gives me a sense of direction. So yeah, just keep doing what you're doing, and more power to you. And I really hope that next year, this time we again have this live session, but the world's a better place.
Yeah, and we've healed and we've
Yeah,
collectively acknowledged our relationship with nature.
absolutely. I think that's the biggest thing. We need to acknowledge the fact. that this is a crisis. And automatically see, because the other thing is that the solutions are here. People tell me, why don't you go become a scientist? I was like, I don't need to, because those people are already doing what they
Doing the
have to
work.
do.
Yeah.
we
And we have
have
more
we
access to
have
science now than we ever did.
exactly, we are just not implementing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can go on and on, but some other time maybe.
Change is coming. It's in the form of every
Absolutely,
young
I'm
child
very
who's,
positive.
yeah, it's in the
Very
form of every
positive.
young child who's a climate warrior. It's in the form of every artist, every thinking, feeling person who's going to continue to be more compassionate, not just towards their immediate families and friends and
Yeah.
loved ones, but the planet.
Yeah.
You be well. I'll see you
You too,
soon.
you too, you too. Be safe, and I hope everybody is safe. They are home, and yeah, just good vibes and good energy. And I'll see you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you to each and every one of you who've joined us and been a part of this conversation. It's World Environment Day in 3 days, and it's going to be, sorry, not 3 days, it's on the 5th of June, 2 days. And I hope that you will draw inspiration from this conversation. And I hope you're all home and safe. Lots of love to each and every one of you.